The year is 1861. A nation forged in the fires of revolution finds itself fractured, divided against itself, brother against brother. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Welcome to our deep dive into the key factors that led to the Confederacy's defeat in the American Civil War. From the smoke-filled battlefields of Gettysburg to the quiet desperation of a people facing economic ruin, we will journey together, exploring the pivotal moments and decisions that shape the outcome of this epic conflict. Through letters, diaries, and first-hand accounts, we'll hear the voices of those who lived through this tumultuous period, their hopes, their struggles, their sacrifices etched in the annals of history. Let us begin, not just with dates and battles won and lost, but with the human story, the story of a nation tested and ultimately transformed. The early years of the war saw the Confederacy, fueled by a fervent belief in their cause, win several key battles. But the tide began to turn. In the West, the fall of Vicksburg in 1863 gave the Union control of the Mississippi River, severing the Confederacy in two. The very lifeblood of the South, the ability to move men and supplies, was choked off. In the East, General Ulysses S. Grant, a man of unwavering determination, relentlessly pursued General Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. The Battle of Gettysburg, a small town in Pennsylvania, became the turning point. 3 days of unimaginable carnage, Pickett's charge, a desperate gamble that failed, and the Confederacy's hope for victory in the North was dashed. As the year 1864 dawned, the Union Army under Grant's command embarked on a campaign of attrition. The Siege of Petersburg, a strategic city south of Richmond, dragged on for months. Trench warfare, a brutal precursor to the horrors of the First World War, set in. The fall of Atlanta to General William Tecumseh Sherman in September 1864, followed by his devastating march to the sea, broke the back of the Confederacy. Sherman's men cut a swath of destruction through the heart of the South, crippling its ability to wage war. The South, heavily reliant on agriculture and cotton exports, found itself increasingly strangled by the Union blockade. Ships laden with vital supplies were turned back or sunk, while the Confederate economy, starved of income, struggled to stay afloat. The Confederate government, desperate for funds, resorted to printing more and more money, leading to runaway inflation. The value of the Confederate dollar plummeted, leaving citizens struggling to afford even basic necessities. Imagine, if you will, a loaf of bread costing hundreds of dollars, a simple cup of coffee, a luxury few could afford. The South's lack of industrial capacity became a crippling liability. Factories were few and far between, unable to produce the weapons and munitions needed to sustain the war effort. The once grand plantations, now starved of labor and ravaged by war, stood as silent witnesses to the Confederacy's dwindling fortunes. As the war dragged on, the economic realities of the Confederacy's situation became impossible to ignore. The dream of an independent South, built on the backs of enslaved people, was crumbling under the weight of its own contradictions. Chapter 3: A House Divided: The Erosion of Public Support in the Confederacy. As the war dragged on, the initial enthusiasm that had greeted secession began to wane. The Confederacy, founded on the principle of states' rights, struggled to maintain unity as the human cost of war mounted. Shortages of food, medicine, and basic supplies became commonplace. Women, often left alone to manage farms and businesses, faced unimaginable hardships. Their letters home, filled with both quiet stoicism and desperate pleas for the war to end, provide a poignant glimpse into the human cost of this conflict. The Confederate government's decision to implement conscription, forcing men into military service, was met with resistance. Many, already struggling to provide for their families, saw it as an infringement on their liberties. Desertion rates climbed, a testament to the waning morale within the Confederate ranks. The destruction wrought by war, particularly Sherman's march to the sea, left many Southerners disillusioned. The Confederacy, they had been promised, would bring prosperity and independence. Instead, it had brought ruin and devastation to their doorsteps. Chapter 4: A New Birth of Freedom, Emancipation, and the Power of Black Troops. On January 1, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were to be set free. This watershed moment transformed the war from a struggle to preserve the Union into a fight for human freedom. The Emancipation Proclamation had a profound effect on the course of the war. Enslaved people, yearning for freedom, abandoned plantations by the thousands and flocked to Union lines. They provided valuable intelligence, served as laborers, and ultimately took up arms to fight for their own liberation. The bravery and sacrifice of Black soldiers in the Union Army, units like the 54th Massachusetts Infantry, challenged the very notion of white supremacy that underpinned the Confederacy. These men, fighting for a country that had long denied them basic human rights, embodied the ideals of freedom and equality that the Union came to represent. The Emancipation Proclamation and the contributions of Black troops struck at the very heart of the Confederacy. By undermining the institution of slavery, the Union had dealt a moral and strategic blow from which the Confederacy could not recover. Outro: The Price of Freedom. The American Civil War, a conflict born of division and fought with a ferocity seldom seen, left an indelible mark on the nation's soul. These factors, the military defeats, the economic ruin, the loss of public support, and the transformative power of emancipation, combined to seal the fate of the Confederacy, leading to the end of the Civil War and a new chapter in American history. The cost of victory, paid for in the blood of over 600,000 soldiers, North and South, served as a stark reminder of the fragility of unity and the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of adversity. The echoes of that conflict, the struggle for freedom and equality, continue to resonate today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical insights.